Hi, everyone. This is Holly Hall at AskHollyHall.com. And you can find me at www.askhollyhall.com and Ask Holly Hall on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm more active on Facebook. You can also email me. So today, I have been prompted by my experience this week to talk about men. And what are the 4 archetypes of men? This is archetypes that I have designed myself. And when I work with my clients in understanding the persona, the behavioral patterns, and the connections and the communication issues between them and the men in their life, and this includes your children too, and your brothers and your bosses as well, is if you understand the 4 archetypes of men and which one they embody the most. Okay. And when I take a look at archetypes, I am, typically we will look back at archetypes and we'll go like, okay, those are gods and goddesses and in mythology, the archetypal, this, that, and the other. And you know what? It's true. This is about what archetype is your god, is your, and I don't mean God as in source, is in your God of a man. Okay. Because they are the type of archetype that stands to their own creation. They are their own creators of who they are, as we all are. So let's start right away. And the reason I was prompted to do this is because I had at least 4 clients between last Thursday and today that were very masculine in nature themselves, and these were women, and they had a really hard time uh, feeling connected with their partner, and it was because they were demasculating each other. So I am going to do a video on the 4 archetypes of women. Okay, in mythology, there's going to be another name for them, but the 4 archetypes of men are this. There is the warrior. Okay, and I'm going to give you the yin and the yang of both archetypes. The warrior on a good day, in a good moment, in a favorable situation, wants to be the fighter. They want to be the one that leads the fight. They want to protect. They want to save the day. They are your typical knight in shining armor. There's an aggressiveness to this, an athlete kind of personality around that. And so they're quite competitive because they will be the first in line. They will be the first one to win the fight. And if they don't win, they're going to die trying. And that can be the yang, the negative. And I don't want to say negative, the challenging side. Challenging side means that either they are being challenged and they're not responding favorable, they are reacting, or they're going through a rough patch in life, or they've had a rough, difficult, challenging childhood, and they're not quite over that fight yet. And so the warrior is feisty and aggressive and forward moving. They're the go-getters. They get things started and they get bored very easily. They need a challenge. They need adventure. And if they don't have this, then they will choose situations that might give them that in an unhealthy way. So there's a tendency for them to look forward to a woman who is also challenging, maybe in a negative way. And some people would look at them and go, what are you doing with her? She's so complicated. She's a fireball. She's out there. And it's exactly what he likes. If you aren't in a healthy relationship, the two of you will create adventures and challenges and new starts and new beginnings in your own accord. You might be into sports together. You might travel together. You may be entrepreneurial at the same time, or you can go around picking a fight. And I will tell you, if your warrior picks a fight with you, that's a sure sign that they are bored to tears. Is that your responsibility? No. But if you're in a relationship with them, you might want to catch on and go, you're bored. Let's do something about this. Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a hike. Let's go downstairs and punch it out in the punching bag. Whatever it takes, right? That's the warrior spirit. You can have a combination of the ones that I'm going to mention. And you may see the warrior spirit in one situation with your man, with the male, with the male counterpart in your life. This could be your partner, your child, business partner, relationship with coworkers, etc. And how do you want to deal with that warrior? Exactly some of the things that I just mentioned. You want to give them something, give them a challenge. Okay. So literally, if I cannot take this, if I can't take this off, and I might be a warrior too, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it off, and I'm gonna compete, right? But if you really want to get into, get your partner kind of feeling good, then you go, because they like a damsel in distress or dams. I don't know what do you call the male version, but they like to be the one that goes, I got it. And if they can't get it, don't try to take it back from them. Let them die trying. Let them keep trying until they finally get it. Right? That's what's really important. And so you want to give them a healthy challenge, and you want to call them out on it. They can take the challenge back. They may come across as very aggressive, and so there's a tendency to want to become, wave the white flag and go, no, 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 I give in. But really, what you want to do is you want to give them a challenge back, a healthy challenge back. Okay, so that might be like, you know what? You are really getting pissed off at all the dishes in the kitchen. And so you didn't do that yesterday. So what the hell happened at work today? That's what it comes down to. So the next one is the provider. Okay. So the provider is someone who wants to make sure that you're taken care of, make sure that you've got a roof over your head, you've got food on the plate, and you've got, he's bringing or she's bringing home the bacon. And the reason I say she, because this is not the female archetype, but if your male counterpart of a partner, happens to be a gender, there's a gender role involved in there. I want to take that into consideration as well. But I will go into the feminine counterparts, archetypes as well. So the provider, how you want to communicate with a provider is to ask them if they can do things for you. Okay. And say, can you, not could you, because could you is implying that maybe they can't. And the provider can be very sensitive to criticism. The reason for that is because the provider is problem solvers. They're problem solvers on a few different levels, and you can determine which level yours is on. But they're problem solvers anywhere from creating a safe environment for you to live in or live within, whether that be the neighborhood or your home. And I mean safe, like it's good, solid house. We got a good, solid, reliable vehicle. We've got good, solid furniture, and I'm going to get the best, most safest baby crib for the baby. And all the locks are on, and you've got security on, and they're materialistic that way. So they want to make sure all the material things in their life are solid or rock solid and provide you a sense of safety. See the word provider. They're also the problem solver. So if you've got a problem to solve, not so much, like the warrior where it's like, animal, get this off. It's more of I have a problem to solve. And that problem is I've got this bill to pay for the kids because of their soccer games. And Joe and Mary want us to go out to dinner this Saturday, and I'm not sure how we're going to make that work. And so they can work through those financial problems. Finances are important to them. Nature is important to them. And making sure that they have security, financial security is also important to them. There's a tendency in a negative way to over problem solve, which means they look for problems to solve. So you may approach them if you're a very enthusiastic, fiery personality and go, hey, Bill and Susie asked us to go for dinner. And by the way, I paid the soccer bill. And he might be going, well, wait a minute. Where does Bill and Susie want to go? They want to go to that Italian restaurant downtown. Oh, that's really expensive. I don't know if we can. That's really expensive. I heard they have a lot of. Let me look it up. Maybe there's a menu, and I can. You might be getting like frustrated at this point because you're like, Bill and Susan asked us out for dinner. You've been bored out of your brains. You've been working too hard. You've been problem solving, and you need a break. You might get frustrated that way. But really, what he's doing is there's a problem, and he's in the midst of solving it, and he's focused on that. Okay. All men by nature are focused creatures. And therefore, there's an end of a line. Okay, there's a finish line, there's a goal. And providers are very goal orientated. So, what you may want to do is approach them in a situation like that and go, okay, you're worried about money. Okay. If he's not aware, he might go, no, I'm not. I just want to know what the menu is. So then you may go, well, we can negotiate another place to go. Where should we go? Because ultimately you still just want to go out with Mary and Joe, right? So what you want to do is negotiate, and they're pretty good with negotiations. And the next one is the educator or the instructor. So the educator and the instructor archetype, they like to give information. They like to pass on information. They like to teach you or instruct you on all of the what you need to know, what you need to know to fix your car, what you need to know to, to put in that fire alarm, what you need to know to make a better dinner or take care of the kids. And therefore, yeah, there's a tendency for them to want to be right. Because if you know something, then you know something, right? Excuse me. It's my favorite cup. Can I show you this? Yeah. I'm fluent in sarcasm. And so the educator is amazing at that. And they want to teach you, and they make great teachers, and they're great with their kids, especially when the kids are young. Of course, when the kids become teenagers and they know everything too, that's when they can butt heads with the educator father figure and the instructor. Okay, so on a good day, they're a wealth of knowledge. They love to communicate. They like to talk. They're restless. They're fidgety. They tend to multitask and have a whole bunch of projects going on at once and not really finishing anything. And if you confront the multitasker, the educator, the instructor, and go, how come you haven't finished with the doorknob yet? How come you haven't done this in the garage yet? It's still all over the counter. Then that would be, that's like taking a few toys away from the child because they've got 6 on the floor and they should only have 3. Okay, literally, that's what it's like. So you want to let them play, let them play in their playground. And often, once the curiosity has been met, they're not willing. They don't feel a need to finish it. I got it functioning. It's doing what it's supposed to do. That's all. Doesn't have to look pretty. Okay. And so communication is important, surprisingly enough, to the educator. And communication in a way where you're not challenging their intelligence. Now, of course, there's a fine line here because they can feel that their intelligence is challenged when indeed it really isn't. You may just have a difference of opinion. You may have another idea. You might have another angle or another perception or take on a situation. And they might feel like you are challenging their intelligence. And so for some of them, not all of them, but for some of the instructors and the educators, they'll just take a step back and just go, okay, you win, fine, non-confrontational. Or they will become distant or detached. And so there could be a little bit of feels like sarcasm in there, where there's just be like, okay, well, we just think differently, right? And so what you want to do is try to become the peaceful communicator, in which there is a happy medium, where you both can be right, you both can agree to disagree, whatever that might be. And then the fourth one is the creator. Okay, not the creator, not the creator, the creator. Because it's not about being creative, although they're extremely creative. A lot of them are. They're intuitive. They're very sensitive to the moods and the emotions, especially around the women in their life. They need a lot of alone time. They're very sensitive to their environment. And so you might find them moody, or in certain situations, suddenly they change, they shift in their mood. A lot of times because they're extremely intuitive, it's almost psychic, and they pick up on the feelings and the emotions of others. But because they are men, they are not in tuned with that. Okay. They just might say, this don't feel right. Or no, I don't want to do it. Or I'm not going there. And it's because they're just getting a feeling and they don't really want to rationalize where that's coming from. They've just made up their mind. for whatever reason that they have. There's a necessity for them to be creative one way or another. That might be creative problem solving. It might go as deep as being creative in art, going in nature, cooking, and might be just being near the water. They love the water. All of them do. The sound of the water, traveling if they're going to be close to the water. And it's important that their feelings are heard, even though they may not say those words exactly. So what they're going to do is say, if you were to say, well, you know what, if they come to you and say, you know what, the kid fell asleep in the movies right in the middle, and this was a movie that maybe he didn't even want to go to in the first place, right? And you're like, well, you know what, well, you were at the movies with a sleeping kid. I had a screaming mama mama, while I was trying to feed them, and look at the mess in the kitchen. You didn't validate his feelings. And you can express yours, don't get me wrong. But even if you just go, man, that sucks. You didn't even want to go to the movie. Sorry about that. That's it. That's all. They don't need a long-winded, deep understanding and deconstructing moment like women do. They just want you to validate it, and then you can express yours, and then they will completely be on your side, okay, around understanding your feelings as you detail it. So there's your 4 archetypes. Which ones are yours? Make a comment below and let me know which one you have. Is it your husband? Is it your coworker? Is it your brother, your dad, your son? Or are they a combination of the two? And can you, and this is your takeaway, can you witness when they are one type and when they are another? And do that for a while. Once you've witnessed it for a while, can you tell why? What is happening that shifts them from one to another? And if they're not two distinct archetypes, can you see the shift between the yin and the yang when they're the challenging archetype or when they're the more pleasant, easygoing archetype? Namaste.